Howdy, folks. Widget Wallace from NeedCoffee.com here. Back again for another Wayhomer review. Here's how it works for the uninitiated. I have just left the cinema. It's behind me over there. Well, behind you. I'm here. And I have seen a film. And I have literally walked... Well, I go tinkle, because, I mean, you have to. Films are long. And I have a bladder the size of a walnut. I know that's sharing too much, but just so you know. Film, tinkle, car, and then I tell you about the film on my way home. It's just faster that way and more efficient. And we're here today to talk about Oblivion. Okay, so, Oblivion, synopsis. Synopsis is this. Earth is screwed. That appears to be the theme of movies this year. Next we have After Earth and then Elysium. So we've just got, the Earth is just going to take it in the face this year in movies. Anyway, so Earth, invaded by aliens, and in order to win the war, it was a bit of a Pyrrhic victory, in that we basically wiped out the planet to save the species. And basically, we have... we're basically patrolling the planet. The surface of the planet is messed up. Messed up to the point where, here's what's interesting. We used nukes, and apparently in the future, nukes are set up to where they will not only bury everything, but also spare, very prominent buildings so that you can see them in the future. That's really cool. I had no idea that technology was anywhere in anyone's mind. Anyway, so blew up the planet to stop the aliens, and now we're all going to go off into space and live happily ever after. However, we're still, taking care of unfinished business on the planet. We need the oceans to power the reactors or whatever, and use that to get out into space. And so you have Tom Cruise is there to be the fix-it guy and keep all these drones that are patrolling the planet operating. And yes, but of course, as you saw in the trailer, things are not what they seem. It's never that simple, is it? So something is going on, and he has to find out what. And because it affects all of mankind. There you go. Okay, so, alright, here's the thing. It's very obvious from the trailer. I'm not giving anything away, because you know I hate spoilers in these things, but it's very obvious in the trailer there's some sort of mystery as to what's actually going on. I mean, it's pretty clear when you have Tom Cruise being shouty Tom Cruise and going, "Who are you?" that you got some kind of mystery happening, right? So yes, mystery. Now, this may be completely my own personal taste, but when there is a mystery taking place on the screen, okay, I like to wonder about what's actually happening. I like to wonder about why things are actually happening. What I don't want to do, and what I think is extremely ineffective, is to wonder about why in the hell any of it is happening. Why certain things that simply make no sense are the way they are. And so that's pretty much where I was from the opening. Now, at a certain point you go, okay, I'm going to trust that when the reveal happens, all these little niggly things that don't make any sense will be explained. So, or not even necessarily explained, but just explained away so that the audience's mind isn't sitting there going, why the hell is that happening? And the example I always use, okay, and what's really frustrating is that all these problems can be fixed with literally a line of dialogue. And the example I always use is Armageddon. Because if you have a movie in which something is hurtling towards Earth, the audience even the non-sci-fi savvy people are going to be thinking, you know, they should just blow it up. And the whole time, during Armageddon, you would have been sitting there going, why don't they just blow it up? Like, from here? Why do they have to go there? It doesn't make any sense. And they addressed it in like a line of dialogue. They were there with Billy Bob Thornton, and they said, why don't we just blow it up? We can't, it's too big. You know what? It doesn't even have to make sense scientifically. There's nobody, I mean, sure, there are people in the audience who are going, that doesn't make any sense. But most people, like myself, our brains just go, oh, well, see, they did think about that, and they can't because it's too big. That's all we need, folks. That's all we need to be satisfied and move on. Okay, this is pretty obvious from the trailer. Okay, but here's a question. If you are part of a two-man crew, two-person crew, whatever, that is responsible, seemingly, for, and I say seemingly because we only see a certain region, right? Because there's radiation zones and whatnot. But you're pretty much responsible. As you've said, you're guarding stuff that mankind can't exist without, which makes it pretty much the most important job in the world. At some point, I'm thinking you would wonder, why do we only have two people here, one person in each job? Because, you know, even the non-sci-fi people understand the concept of single point of failure. Especially someone who is used to fixing technology. But you could have fixed that and put my mind at ease, and probably your mind at ease, with simply one line, which would have been, yes, there's only two of us, but the drones are so good, they serve as backup. Something where we go, okay, you've at least addressed it, you've thought about it, and it's fine. There's stuff like that through the whole movie, where I was sitting there going, why is that happening? Not from a why motivationally is that happening, why is this mysterious thing happening? You know, that kind of thing that you want from a mystery, whether it's a sci-fi mystery. What am I? I'm Mel Tillis all of a sudden. The thing you want from a mystery, whichever genre the mystery is taking place in, you want to wonder about why it's happening motive-wise, not why it's happening story-wise, or credibility-wise, or motivationally-wise from a standpoint of why would anyone act that way. And again, here's a tip. You can't, I'm sorry, writers of the world, you can't. I'm sorry if it makes more sense and is easier, but it makes no sense. If you have, like, okay, I can't, spoilers for another film, fine. I mentioned this in the G.I. Joe Retaliation review. If you're a group of bad guys, and you're doing bad guy things, okay? You're gonna at least post one sentry to tell you that the G.I. Joe team is coming through the roof, okay? You're not gonna tell me that you're gonna be inside the building with no eyes on the outside so you can be surprised by anyone, whether it's the G.I. Joe team, or UPS, or a pizza delivery, or whatever. You're gonna have somebody watching the outside of the building, okay? I'm not gonna tell you who, but it's the same damn thing here. Also, it seems that, like, there's a bunch of people who went through Secret Service training from Olympus Has Fallen. There you go, 2 callbacks. Watch my other reviews. I didn't mean to do it that way, it just sort of happened. So, there's a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense. And the frustrating thing, I mean, you know this, okay? It's one thing if everything is so bad that it's good, or just bad, right? If the story idea is bad, if the nugget at the center, at the core of the film is bad, that's one thing. And then you expect everything bad to radiate out from it. But here's the thing. The nugget in this one, the core of the story, is not a bad one. I mean, it seems like it could be fairly obvious. You could plot a course where it could be extremely obvious from the trailer what's going on, but it's not that obvious, okay? And you could have played around with that, and it would have been good. But instead, it's surrounded with just nonsense. Now, here's the thing. It's not anybody's fault. It's in the film. You know, Tom Cruise is fine. I mean, he's sort of playing, I don't know, mostly action-y Tom Cruise. And he's fine. The female leads are fine. Jamie Lannister's fine. Morgan Freeman is Morgan Freeman and is always fine. In fact, I would say my favorite, the part of the film that works the best is that Morgan Freeman looks absolutely awesome in those sunglasses. Okay? That's it. That's the only thing you can count on is Morgan Freeman, because the rest of it is my mind anyway. Now you may be fine if you don't care about that, if you don't think about that, if you walk into any film and can turn your brain all the way off and it never wakes up, then you'll probably enjoy this. Because like I said, you can run with the nugget of the story and not ask those pesky questions about why is this happening and in what universe would anyone act like this. You're probably going to be fine. But me, I'm just telling you, if you like your stories, even in a sci-fi universe, to make some semblance of sense, then you're probably not going to like it very much. In fact, I just found the whole thing frustrating, and then when it became clear that I wasn't going to get any of my answers, because, you know, the majority of them, it seems like the writers hadn't considered, and the rest of them, they just didn't feel like addressing, and I felt like they were important. I felt like it was, I don't mind some things remaining a mystery, but not every damn thing, right? So, anyway, so I just found it frustrating, and then once there were no answers coming, a bit tedious, and I was just waiting for it to, you know, end. So anyway, and it just made less and less sense as time went on. I kept waiting for the reveal that, oh yes, of course. I don't know. So I mean, there you have it. Now, as far as a cup rating goes, I was going to give a half a cup for Morgan Freeman and a half a cup for the rest of the cast. But it just kept making no sense and being silly. And being silly and making no sense. And it just kept pounding away at the shelf that I keep the cups on. And there's only half a cup left. So there you go. Half a cup out of 5. I'm sorry, but it just didn't work. And I went into this ready to enjoy this. I know a lot of people have problems with Tom Cruise films. I'm not one of them. So, but there you go. One line, folks. So many of these problems could be solved with one line of dialogue. And then it would be fine. But no. No, you couldn't be arsed. So anyway, there you go. It'll make money this weekend, so don't worry about Tom or Morgan. They're fine. Their paychecks won't bounce. So, yeah, if you must see it, for God's sake, see a matinee. But if you are fine with waiting, it'll be out on Netflix or Blu-ray soon enough, and you can catch it then. And you'll be fine. It's going to be good. It's all good. So anyway, there you go. There's another Wayhomer in the can. Thanks so much for watching these things. I hope you enjoy them. Like the post office used to be, rain nor snow nor whatever can stop us from talking incessantly into a camera. So yes, thanks so much for watching. If you do enjoy these, please do us a favor. Take 2 seconds and go. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can go to Need Coffee and do it from there. Or you can share the YouTube video. I don't care. But just share it somehow with somebody. That's all I ask, okay? That's the number one thing that would help us out the most. That and winning the lottery. But I think, and I don't mean Shirley Jackson, I mean an actual lottery where you win stuff, not where, you get sacrificed. But sharing is a good thing, and we advocate it, and thank you in advance for doing that. So, until next time, it's Widget Walls here saying we'll see you on the Wayhomer Reviews. Bye! One last question. You saw this in the trailer, so I'm not giving anything away. The black figure, clothed in all black with the visor and the rifle that smacks Tom Cruise in the face in the trailer. Was I the only one who saw that and thought it was a goth Tusken Raider? I am, aren't I? Okay.